Today I want to talk about what I think is the second most critical thing you can do in your life. Most critical in the sense that it's the impact it has in your whole life is very critical. I think the only thing more critical than it is giving your life to Christ. The most important thing you can do with your life is give your life to Christ. The second most important thing is to date correctly. That's if you're planning on getting married or if you're married. If you plan to get married, then I think aside giving your life to Christ, the second most important thing you can do is to date correctly. Why do I think it's that critical? Because you see all those dreams and visions you have as a young man, as a young woman. You want to be this, you want to be that, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to conquer your world. They can be impacted so seriously with who you get married to and how you get married. So two things: who you marry and how you marry can impact so much on your life, your dreams, your vision, your career, your goals. Everything in your life can be so much impacted by who you marry and how you marry. And how do you get these two things right? To marry the right person and to marry correctly. It's in how you date. Dating is extremely important. So I want to spend time to teach young people about dating, because I think we don't talk about it enough in church. We don't teach it enough. So many people don't know how to date. What we do is go and see movies and lick ice creams and think that he loves me or she loves me, and think that I think she's right for me, I think he's the right person for me. How do you come to those conclusions? Those are very important conclusions for your life. Those are decisions that will impact on your destiny, on your life. So how do you make that kind of decision? How do you arrive at those type of conclusions? You have to be thorough, you have to be intentional, you have to get it right. And that's what dating does. So dating is to solve two problems. It's to make sure we don't marry the wrong person and to make sure we don't marry wrongly. I repeat that. To make sure we don't marry the wrong person, to make sure we do not marry wrongly. Because you can marry the right person and marry them wrongly. The fact that he's right for you or she's right for you doesn't mean the marriage will work. You have to get certain things right for the right man to work for you, or the right woman, So the first part I want to talk about is how you can be sure you are marrying the right person. The big question: is he the right person for me? Is she right for me? How do you come to that conclusion? Now, error. Let me correct one error. Error is when you think that you can solve that question by praying and asking God, is he right for me? Show me if he's right for me. Show me if she's the right person for me. That's error, my brother. God is not in the business of telling you who to marry. There are exceptions to that. There are exceptional cases where God, because of the impact of that marriage on his global plan, he can step into the matter to intervene. Otherwise, the choice of who you marry is your call to make. So it's wrong question to say, God, show me if he's the right person for me. That's wrong. I don't know who's teaching us that, but that's wrong. The job of the Holy Spirit in pre-marriage is not to tell us who to marry. It's to give us the ability to see the angles. His job is to reveal so that we, being properly informed, can make the right choices, can make the right decision. The Holy Spirit is just to allow us, to help us if we invite him into our dating process, to help us see the angles that we are not seeing with our limited sight, our limited possibility. I used to give an example and I say, you're dating a guy and you don't know if he has an anger problem because he's very good at covering his behavior. So you don't know. You can pray about it as a child of God and say, Holy Spirit, I want to know more about this person. Can you help me? And the Holy Spirit can orchestrate a series of events that can bring you to the conclusion if he has an anger problem or not. For example, you may be going out one day with him to go and see a lovely movie, and somebody just drives in front of him, or somebody steps on him, and an event happens that instantaneously he cannot pretend, he reacts in his normal elements, and then you can see for yourself that there's something there. But then having that information is so that you can make a decision, like, do I still want to marry this person even though he has an anger problem? Do I still want to go ahead and marry her even if I know she has this or that? So the this or the that are the things the Holy Spirit can help you to see in the dating process, if you date correctly. But it is your decision ultimately if you are going to marry him or her, if you think she's good enough, if you think he's good for you. That's your call to make. That's not God. That's you. That's why he gave us brain and not beans. Yeah? Okay. So, how do you date correctly? To answer the first question, is he right for me? Is she right for me? That's what I want to talk about today. How do you date correctly? In dating, you are trying to answer some questions. You see, you have to be very intentional about dating. Marriage is not for kids. You date somebody for 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, 10 years, whatever time it takes to answer these important questions I want to talk about. When you have the answers, that's when you marry the person. Not when you fall in love. When you can answer these questions. First question, do I like him or her? Like, do I like him? Now, like is not love. Like is, do I enjoy his presence around me? Do I enjoy his company? Does he make me happy? Does he make me laugh? Does she excite me? His jokes, his line of thought, his arguments, the way she thinks. The personality, do you like the person? Because if you don't like the person, don't marry the person. So the first question you want to answer in dating is, do I like him? You want to figure that out. You want to hang out with him enough to know if you really like the person that you want to marry. Not emotions now, not love, not being in love, just liking to be around the person. Do you enjoy his company? Do you enjoy her presence? Do I like the person? If you don't like the person, if they make you angry, if they have a body odor you don't like, if they have a look, a physical look you don't like, if they talk in a certain way that you hate, don't marry the person, because you're going to be stuck with that person for life. So forget all this speaking in tongues. First question you want to answer when dating is, do I like him? Do I like her? If you can get that question, you move to the next question, which is in the same bracket with it. Does he like me? Do I think he likes me? Do I think she likes me? If somebody is just coping with you, and you can see it, you can see that they're just enduring you, but maybe they are of age to marry, or maybe their parents want them to marry you, and you can feel that they don't like you. Call the person and say, guy, go walk. The second question you want to ask is the question of love. Do I love him? And then you ask, does he love me? Do I think he loves me? So let's talk about love. Love is not the same thing as being in love with the person. That's not what we're talking about now. It's love. Do I love him? That means, am I concerned? Love is concern. Love is care. Do I care about this person? Do I find myself always in the position where I want to help, I want to improve them, I want to give to them. If they are in trouble, I cannot rest. I want to help, I want to assist. That is love. So to marry someone, you have to love the person, but you have to be able to be sure whether you love them. Okay? Whether it's not just being in love or attraction, you have to love the person. Don't marry somebody you don't love. Somebody you are not willing to go all the way for. Somebody you are not willing to sacrifice for. Love is measured in giving. The proof of love is giving. In other words, how much you love somebody is how much you can give to the person, how much you can give your time, your money, your resources. You can go out of your way for the person. That's love. And the measure of giving is sacrifice. The size of the sacrifice is the size of the love. So you need to be able to ask yourself and answer that question. Do I love this person? Like the way a mother loves the child. The mother will go to any length to serve the child's needs. That's love. But also you need to be able to answer the question, does he love me? Do I think he loves me? You see, if you are dating someone and they can't go out of their way for you, they can make sacrifices for you, something is not correct. Don't try to manage somebody you are going to marry. Try to figure out who the person is. Do I like them? Do they like me? Or do I love them? And do they love me? Do I think he loves me? Does he go out of his way for me? Is he helping to improve me? So that's the issue of like and love, because I'm just trying to make this as fast as I can. The third thing is the question of being in love, which is different from love. Like I said, love is, do I care for the person? Am I concerned? Am I willing to sacrifice for this person, to help this person improve, to be better? But being in love, which is the third thing we're talking about, which is what you have to figure out in the dating process. Being in love is an attraction, it's a feeling. It's when you talk about the butterflies in the tummy. Being in love is when you can't get your hands off the person. You want to be with them all the time. You want to spend time and time and time with them. You are attracted to them. You are in love. You want to kiss them. You want to have sex with them. You want to be in their presence all the time. You want to be on the phone with them forever. That's being in love. So that is an essential ingredient in marriage. So you have to be able to figure out in the process of dating if you are in love with this person. Now, and also if they are in love with you, that's also critical. Some people want to marry you not because they love you, not because they are in love with you. For some other reason, maybe their parents think they should marry from your tribe, or they feel that for some reason they should marry you. But you can see that they don't love you, or they are not in love with you. I would say continue dating. Don't fix a wedding date. No matter how tall, dark, and handsome he is, how shapy and intelligent she is, if you're not sure of these questions, don't marry the person, because it's just a failed marriage waiting to happen. And as a marriage counselor, I can tell you there are too many cases of failed marriages that are just hanging in there. Wives that are just there for the kids. They are not happy, they are frustrated in life, they're depressed. There are too many of those cases, especially in Christian marriage. And I counsel people who are married, and sometimes I really want to tell them that, see, after listening to them, to the couple, I want to tell them, how come you guys are even married? Wait, who brought two of you together? Two people who have no business being married. They don't love each other. They're not in love, but they're married. Figure it out in the dating process. Do I like him? Does he like me? Do I love him? And does he love me? Are we in love? Am I in love with him? Is he in love with me? Am I in love with her? Is she in love with me? Now, I give a simple analogy to differentiate between love and being in love. And I use phone calls, because when we got mobile phones a couple of years ago, and we were young and dating, we couldn't get enough of each other. And those days it was very expensive to make calls, and we were students or young adults, we had no money. So at midnight, the calls are cheaper. You could call at a reduced rate between 12 midnight and maybe 5 a.m. And you notice that young people were always calling at this time. Well, it was cheap. But because we're in love, we don't want to end the call. So I call at 12 midnight and I'm talking to her, and it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. We're still talking. She's going to work or school the next morning, and I know she's going to school or work, but I don't want to end the call because I'm that attracted to her. When I end the call, I want to call back immediately. I don't know if you've been there. If you've been in love, you know that. That's being in love, okay? But if you love the person, if you are in love, you want to keep talking with the person to 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. But if you love them, you want them to sleep so they can go to work in the morning and be able to be productive and to do what they have to do. I mean, you don't want them to lose their job if you love them, because love is care and concern. So if you love the person, you want to end the call so they can sleep. If you are in love with them, you want to keep the call going. So that is the conflict between being in love and loving the person. And love always comes out on top. If there's love, if there's real love, you have to sacrifice your desire for satisfaction from the voice you are hearing, from the communication. You want to suspend all that satisfaction and serve the person. That's love. Being in love is for you. It satisfies you. This person satisfies you. Hanging out with them, playing with them, loving on them, whatever you do with them, it satisfies you. But love is for them. It's not for you. Love is you making a sacrifice for the person. So, summary of the 3 points we've talked so far. Do I like her? Does she like me? Do I love her? Does she love me? Am I in love with her? Is she in love with me? Do I think so? You have to be able to answer these 3 questions. And then we go to question number 4 you want to answer in the dating process, which is, are we compatible? Do we work? Are we going to the same direction? Can we agree in the serious and important things in life? You're not going left and she's going right. You're not going forward and he's going backward. You're not thinking globally and he's thinking locally. He wants to conquer the world and you are afraid of conquering the world. You guys should not be hanging out together. So you have to be able to ask and answer the question, can we work? The Bible says two cannot work together unless they agree. Do we work? Can we agree on the important things in life? And that comes from a lot of conversations throughout the dating process. You have to discuss. You have to ask important questions. You have to engage your minds on serious issues. You have to discuss what's happening in the world. You have to discuss your future. Where are you going? Where do you want to be 10 years from now? You have to be able to figure out from those conversations if you guys are going to work. I was in the Bible college a couple of years ago, and a guest lecturer came to teach us, and he was talking about a book he had written, and the book was titled, I Love Her, but I Can't Marry Her. I love her, but I can't marry her. And he's saying that because it's not everybody you love that will work. Love is not enough. Being in love is not enough. If you cannot work, if you cannot agree, if two of you are not compatible, if your ideologies of life, your views in life are totally different, your ambitions, your expectations out of life are totally opposite, you have no business getting married. So, do I like her? Do I love her? Does she love me? But can we work? Are we working? Are we compatible? That's very important. And then we come to the 5th point. The 5th question you want to answer is, how committed are we to make it work? Now, I'll explain that. So, I like her. I love her. I'm in love with her. She likes me. She loves me. She's in love with me. And I think we're compatible. We've dated enough to know that we can work. When you get married, 1 year or 6 months or 4 years or 7 years, you will have conflicts, disagreements, that some people just come to an early conclusion that these are irreconcilable differences, that we can't work anymore. But most of those irreconcilable differences are actually reconcilable if two people are committed to make it work. The problem is if one person out of those two comes into the marriage, or both of them comes into the marriage with a sense that let's hope it works, but if it doesn't work, well it doesn't work. It most likely will not work. There has to be commitment from both parties. Both of you have to agree to say, come what may, we have to make this work. We must make this work. We must fight to make it work. We will disagree. We will have differences that are irreconcilable, but we have to be committed enough to reconcile it. See, you're going to have kids. You're going to bring people into this world that need both parents. You can't come and be giving us excuse that you have irreconcilable. Go and reconcile the difference. Find a way to make it work. And if two people are committed enough that no matter what we see in this thing, we're going to make it work, usually it works. The marriages that are celebrating 30 years, it's not because they don't have differences that are very difficult to reconcile. It's because they're committed that in spite of what we see, we're going to make this work. Understand? So, let me quickly round this up. The 5 things you want to be able to do in the dating process. And if you have not answered yes to these 5 things, don't marry yet. Keep dating. Or if you have answered no's, then stop dating and go date someone else. But marriage is not that critical that you would end up marrying somebody that is not good for you. You don't like them, or you don't love them, or you are not in love with them, or you guys are not compatible, or you're not committed. Or he doesn't love you back. He doesn't like you. He's not in love with you. Don't marry that person. If your answers are no to any of those questions, you should not marry. Being single is not the same as being dead. Your life is not over because you couldn't find a good partner. It's better to be single than to be married to somebody that you have no business marrying. There are too many frustrated people in marriage. Too many. And if we tell young people, they don't believe me. Until 10 years down the line when they are married, they call you up and say, this thing can't work. I regret marrying this person. But we're trying to tell you, when you're single, that don't run away from singleness and get married. That's not, marriage is not to replace your singleness. Marriage is a commitment. So date correctly so you can marry the right person and you can marry rightly. Because you can marry the right person and not marry rightly. And in the next video that I will make, I will talk about marrying rightly. After you have met the right person through the dating process, you have come to a conclusion through these 5 questions that yes, it's the right person for me. There are still things you need to do from that point till when you marry the person to ensure that the marriage will work. They are the right questions to ask, they're the right things to do, and we'll talk about it in another video. But today what we have talked about is dating correctly to figure out, is she the right girl for me? Or is he the right guy for me? And we said you can get that when you ask yourself those 5 questions, and it will take you time. If it takes you several years, date the person for several years. Don't marry because you are of age. Don't marry because your friends are marrying. Marry because you've answered yes to those 5 questions. Do I like him? Does he like me? Do I love him? And do I think he loves me? Am I in love with him? And do I think he's in love with me? Are we compatible? Are we working? Are we going to work? And are we committed, both of us, to make it work in the long term? Thank you very much for listening. And please subscribe to my channel and share this video with someone so they can be blessed too. Thank you.